Hi everyone, how you doing today? It's I just got back from an appointment and it's probably almost noon, 11:30ish, something like that, but a couple of things I really need to get done. I pulled all my onions yesterday. Some were kind of little, some were decent, but I want to make room for the Salanova lettuce anyway, because I seen an army worm in one of these tubes. They were eating the tops and getting inside, and I noticed a lot of my other tops were gone, missing from my onions, so I just pulled them all. We'll have some decent onion. These Brussels sprouts are getting big and they need a little more space, so I'm going to pull up some of my beans so they can have a little more room and move this fence forward so that they can have more space. They're already too close to the peppers, but I think if I move this, it'll help. It will help them. I have a little bit of harvesting to do. I'm going to do a little bit of canning maybe. These are seedless. These are seedless and they're pest proof. They're a sauce tomato from Burpee, and they're called super sauce, I believe. And I see some of them ripening, but I want to get a few of those up, and it'd be nice to have some of these canned. And then I have other tomatoes, like the less acidic tomatoes. My son decided he didn't want any, so I'm just going to can them. And then I have the beef steak, the super steak, the big slicers at the end here, and I've been picking them off. I know I have about 2 or 3 that I need to pick today, and I may just can those as well. Either that or give some to the neighbors, but I've already given to the neighbors, so I like to have a few canned. So anyway, I'm going to get busy here, and I want to go ahead, and I'm waiting for the Japanese beetles to finish up and get out. I think they're getting a little bit less. I'll see how it looks today. They do have a time frame where they come in for like a month and a half, 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks maybe, and they just wreak havoc. I've sacrificed some of this, but for the most part, they kind of stay off my garden when I do the lures. I'm hoping that they leave soon because they've been here for about a month now. I can't remember when they left last year, but they will leave and they'll disappear. And then that's when your plants and vegetables and stuff will just flourish because they're not hounding it. And my flowers. I want to show you something real quick. I had the Emery Paul dahlia this year that I grew, and it's finally blooming. And this one up here, this very first one to bloom, she's not done, but look how big she is. Isn't that amazing? She's gonna be so pretty. She will probably be the best in my garden. My sun patients are doing great. I just love this plant. It always looks so classic, so pretty. And today, this morning, I was greeted with Mrs. Hibiscus. I wish I could put her in the ground, but if we're moving, I want to take her with me. I don't want to lose her, so she's still in a pot, and she really needs to be in the ground, but she'll have to wait. I think I can cut her down a little bit in the fall. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up, but I think I can. Everything over here is looking pretty, and I'm getting seed from each one of the colors of the balsam impatiens. I may have to get me some LaGuardia if I want some when we move. This is so pretty. That man is it's always pretty. I love that. And the blue, I can't remember what it's called. It's called Lobelia. Lobelia, in that pretty name. It's doing so well. And they're annuals, but I just love how long it's lasted. Let me get started before it gets really hot. we're in a heat advisory, so I want to get this done real quick. Give these Brussels sprouts some more room. What I did is I used these sticks to help hold it while I put the garden in here, and then I used to keep it pulled up, I used a garden staple up there with the twine on it so that it won't flop back, and it'll stay up against it'll stay away from falling backwards. But the sticks help because I put them in the ground, and it helped me form the fence because it was rolled up, so it was easy to keep it in place while I put the staples in it. And then I'll just leave them there, you know. So anyway, that's done. And I think the Brussels sprouts, they've got some leaves that needed more sun and didn't get it. And also, I had some beans that were kind of squished too and turned yellow. I got some beans off of the ones that I pulled out. I got all the beans off of them. Let's see, I probably got more beans in there, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning to pick because it's so humid and hot. And it's a nice breeze. At least we have a nice breeze. I'm thankful for that. Let me get the tomatoes. I'll get this cleaned up. Ooh, I need a towel. These outdoor towels, they may look gnarly, but they're clean. I washed them. They just stained from being outdoors with me. So they're nice to have. When it's hot and sticky and I can get it wet, put it around my neck if I'm out here too long, but I'm not planning on that. Oh look, it already grew a new one because I took all of the blooms off. I cut all the dahlias off of these yesterday, and they're starting to put on more buds now, and I sprayed them. You know what, it's hard to know if it's because of the drought that they're getting that way or if it's just diseased. But the thing of it is, in the dog days of summer when it's hot and humid and, you know, my leaves get that way. So, and I don't usually do much about them. Sometimes if they're really bad, like down here, I'll just pull them off. But it's just a every year thing. And I don't worry about it that much because I use these as to cut flowers, and I cut the flowers off and put them in vases so they can last longer and or reseed. It's about time for me to cut back my lilies, my Asiatic lilies. I'll do that probably. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow morning, in the morning. But the thing is, oh, look at it. She flushed back out. She's happy now. My cherry brandy didn't make it. It's not very happy here. It just went ahead and died. And the thing is, she would have died over here anyway. So she was on her way out, and she just decided, you know what, I'm giving up. And let's see, the coneflowers, I hope they get up here and get to blooming. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in this little group. And who knows how many in here, because they're all kind of clumped together. 5, 6 or so. And so we'll have some coneflowers late this year. And this is my evening primrose that grew. It just volunteered. Just volunteered. I didn't want to pull it. I thought it had pretty leaves on it, but it gets ate up a little bit by the beetles. And we're going to have a little of that, but I don't know. I just feel like the lures, they may bring in a lot more beetles, but they're not so much on my plants. They're not so much. I'll see 1 or 2 once in a while. Like today, I haven't seen one yet. They like to get in my blooms. It just seems like they'll go to the lures before they'll come to my flowers. And I love zinnias. They're so pretty. And here's a Cosmo that just bloomed. See, they're growing up. They've grown back up again. I think that's awesome. But let's see what and I can't pull that because there's Cosmo in there. They are smart. You know what? These weeds. Every year, I always have a beautiful show of flowers back here. This year, I have holes. But if I'm here next year, I don't think we will be. But if we're here next year, I'll fill in some of these holes with more stuff. I planted so many plants, but it just wasn't quite enough. I was afraid I wouldn't have enough room, but I have more than enough room. So, or I may give the garden, the veggie garden, a little more space. But I don't usually do this many tomatoes. I usually do 5 or 6 plants of tomatoes. And that's it. This year I have 13. I won't do that again. I will give those away. If I have more plants, I'll give them away. Then we'll have more room for our onions, and our potatoes will go at the end because they did pretty well over there. I'll do onions, and I'll do the beans, and we'll see how these Brussels sprouts do. If it's worth the time, I'll do those. But it would be wonderful to have fresh Brussels sprouts. Now that I know what kind of stuff to use to keep them from getting bugs and pests. And I always do peppers. See? There's a little, and he's got to go join his buddies. But next year I'll know how much more I need to space it for the Brussels sprouts, because in years past, my Brussels sprouts never got that tall. They got ate up by bugs so fast. They were nasty, so I just pulled them and threw them away. But this year, something made me think that I could grow them again. And they started getting them cabbage worms. Well, I put that BT on there, and I haven't had a problem since. And that's been a month and a half ago, or maybe even 2 months ago. You can still see the leaves of where they had gotten. See? Right here, they tore that up, but I got the BT, and it worked great. I would recommend it. Like for rust on your plant leaves, the rust and the brown spot, neem oil. I use just plain old neem oil. I recommend that too. The miners, I have Bonide 8. I have it mixed up in my jug. It's more of a pesticide. And I remember when in one of my videos, we cut back all the leaves off of this rose bush up front. Had those little designs, white designs in their leaves. And I thought they were so pretty. They did such a good artwork on my leaves. But, you know, I haven't seen any since. I cut them back. I sprayed it with the 8. It's got a little, yeah, I'm not seeing any miners trying to mine my leaves. Oh, there's a couple. Well, and I could have missed them last time. But maybe I need to spray it again. I'll spray it again tonight just to be on the safe side and go from there. I'm hoping that maybe she might put some buds on or something. I don't know if she will. Not yet this year anyway. The coreospis is all growing up in here. It's going to be beautiful next year. Oh, that coreospis is going to grow up and you will have flowers dancing in the wind. It spreads, but I love them. I love the coreospis. It's so pretty. I like this one. It's called big flower coreospis. Big yellow flower coreospis, something like that. I can't remember. A pin cushion. I don't know if she's done for this season or if I don't think she's dying. She's got some nice green growth down here. Maybe I need to cut her back. I need to read about. Prefers long blooming flowers. Well, fold apart sun. Prefers partial shade in hot summer climates, and she gets that. I think she's fine. I think she just... I'll see if I need to clip her, prune her, whatever, like a petunia or something. But she's growing more. She's growing out some more, so I'm not worried. I think she's going to be fine. I could probably cut the dead leaves off, but you know what? I did that with my heuchera. Don't ever cut off the dead leaves off your heuchera. No, you'll kill it. I did that. So I need to read before I need to look it up before I do something, because I'm bad at that. I'll go do something and then I'll go look it up and see how I'm supposed to do it. And that's not the way you do things. But I'm backwards. You know I'm backwards. Especially when I say pit fire and I don't know. My husband makes fun of me because I talk backwards sometimes, like I'm dyslexic or something. I don't know. I'm getting old. Look at the didiscus. Look at the little bugs on here. Isn't that cute? I want to put it. I think that's so pretty. Even like that. The didiscus doing really good here. Get off me. Yeah, that's really pretty. I could see a whole thing of this. This is really pretty. Really, really pretty. And this is something that you do not start inside. You direct seed it. Doesn't like its roots messed with. So, you know, like when you're pulling weeds around it, you gotta be careful of that too, because it doesn't like its roots. Now the Phacelia, I don't know. She just didn't do very good here, and maybe she needs a little cooler climate. I don't know. And I don't know, maybe it just wasn't, I don't know. She got real viney, kind of like, and she didn't stand up very well. I don't know, maybe something was eating on her, because that just fell right off. I don't know. But I will do the discus again. The Phacelia, I might try it one more time, maybe in a better spot. See what happens with that. The forget-me-nots, I won't. I didn't realize these are those ones that when the blooms die, they make little cockaburs, and my cats get in it and get it in their fur, and then I'm having to pull it out. And they don't like it too much, but they know they feel better after I do. So, but everything's doing good since I drenched this thing and made a pond out of it. I mean, there was kind of water flowing when I did that because it just wasn't getting to the roots. The water, the cap on the top soil was just wasn't letting the water through. And we have the forsythia. She never gives up. Never will she give up. She just keeps growing back. And I told my husband, I said, just leave it. Maybe the new people that move here will like it, but they better take care of it because it gets big. Yep, these are all doing well. Oh, I can't wait till this comes out. Look how big that is. I can't believe how big that bloom is. It's going to be like a dinner plate. Oh, I can't wait till it's finished blooming. It's going to be so pretty. Bachelor buttons and all. Look at Pegasus. She's getting, look at her blooming. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm so glad she made it. Boy, there for a while. Remember the very beginning of spring, she had like 2 leaves. Maybe a couple more, but it was like 2 leaves she had. She didn't have hardly anything on her stems. And they got real tall. The stems were real tall and nothing on them, so I cut them way back. And look at, she is just beautiful. Very beautiful. I love her. The nasturtium's doing really well up here. They're blooming a lot more than what they did in the back. I probably need to do something about this, but I don't know what. Because if I do that, well, they have time to come back, I think. But, you know, this is all edible. It's all edible. Oh, that's what I needed to do. I'm going to go get my clippers and I'm going to clip those off and get rid of the earworm for the season. They did their job. I will be right back. Done. Sometimes, you know, it just feels nice to get rid of something, especially when it's going dead and you know it and it's just time to go. These are going to be so beautiful this year. Look how big that is. Yeah, growing out, growing out, growing out. So that's it. Okay, all my lavenders are coming up really well. Really well. Okay, let's get out of this heat. Tonight, I'm making chicken and noodles. I was so tired yesterday. I couldn't have cooked. I had to go to the store, so I thought I'll just buy some chicken. Fried chicken, and I'll make a veggie with it or something. I did. I went and got the chicken, but I didn't make anything with it. And of course, my husband is so sweet. He's like, don't worry about it. He said, don't need that, don't need it. Because I asked him if he wanted some green beans or something. And, nope, don't worry about it, he says. But I still feel bad because I should be cooking him a good meal, at least once a day. But anyway, I got that chicken. I'm like, well, I have those. I can make my own noodles, but sometimes it's nice to have a bag of frozen noodles. I can't remember the name of them, but they're good and they taste almost homemade. I mean, you can't hardly tell the difference. My mom, when she was alive and was staying here for a little bit, she couldn't tell the difference. She thought those noodles were awesome. And but yeah, I use them sometimes because it's nice and easy and quick, and I can cook them up just like I would my own dried noodles. And I'll make chicken and noodles, and I'll use some of our new red potatoes, and I'll cook them up and mash them. Oh, it will be so good. And green beans from the garden. And I might cut up a slice or a tomato or two. I'm going to give him a really good supper tonight. A really good supper. So it says he is so good to me. He is so very good to me. I think I've mentioned I'm writing a book on and off. Sometimes I have to stop because it brings up old memories and it's very hard. So yeah, if I ever get it done, I hope I do, and I think I will. If I ever get it done, you'll read and see what my life has been like. You know, and I know a lot of people have hard lives, and they are still having hard lives. But sometimes it feels good to get it out there. And if I could help one person, just one woman, or man for that matter, in a bad marriage or a bad situation, then it's worth it. One of the things that really inspired me to go ahead and write it, because I've been needing to write it for like 30 years. I've kept all the papers, I've kept everything, and what inspired me to write it was I have a friend who, she's a widow, and she has 3 wonderful little boys. Well, some of them are not little anymore, but they're still in the house. Their one's going into high school, and I talk to her sometimes because right now she's in kind of a bad relationship, and she told me, she says, when you tell me your stories, it gives me strength. And I was like, wow. I'm like, had no clue. I had no clue it would do anything like that. But, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time I write that book. And, so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing off and on. And like I said, you know, sometimes it just gets, too much. I do not want to go into that dark place again. It's hard. It's hard to write a book where you have succeeded and you have gotten through a lot of bad things, and it's like you just don't ever want to go back there. Never. So anyway, if it helps someone, if it helps several, or it helps just one, I think it's worth it. So anyway, I'm going to end this on a happy note and say there's not quite as many Japanese beetles as there were. That used to be full. At this time, it's hot out and the sun's out, so it would be full. I mean, it would be beetles all around here. I think they're almost done for the year. Hi, little fella. Are you trying to find your way home? Yep, I think they're on their way out. Hopefully so. You all have a wonderful day. I hope your harvest is in abundance and you're having a great time enjoying your beautiful flowers in your gardens. And have a great day, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.